It is raining, friends. It is coming in sideways at me. It's coming at me in all directions. Friends, I'm coming to you from Iceland. We're going to get you up to date on what's going on with the debate, what's going to be coming out with the debates in the future, and some of the breaking stories out there in the political realm so that you're all geared up for everything. We're going to keep you up to date. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and I am currently getting pounded in the rain in Iceland. It's beautiful and gorgeous here for sure. Give that a quick look. So tonight, as you are almost certainly aware, we are having a big debate between Kamala Harris, the Democrat nominee for president, though we're all not sure how that happened. But President Trump is also going to be debating her, and this is a big high stakes thing. This is the first time they've debated in person, and as of right now, it may still be the last time. There is talk of another debate later into October. It's probably already too late for a lot of mail-in ballot voters at that point. But tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., there will be the debate between those two. This will be at the Philadelphia National Constitution Center. It will be hosted by ABC, and yeah, if you think it's going to be unbiased, that's not going to happen. So all these ABC people are basically Democratic operatives. They're all intermarried with Democrats who are in office, Democrats who are bundling fundraisers for other people. It is absolutely 100% not going to be fair whatsoever, even if they try to make it fair, which if they try to make it fair, their fellow Democrats are going to crucify them. All right, so the question is there going to be a vice presidential debate? And with this presidential season, the Democrats do not want to vote. They do not want to debate. They do not want to debate at all. And they've been apparently cornered into a debate for October 1st in New York City, hosted by CBS. So Vance and Walz supposedly will be doing that. But we'll see if Walz tries backing out of that after Kamala Harris gets beat up. But there is also that whole question of, with the best coaches from the Democratic Party and just the lowering expectations that we've seen all along here, is this going to be potentially, all Kamala Harris has to do is not stumble all over herself. All she has to do is just not mess up terribly. If she can just do that, they're going to run around and talk about how it was the greatest victory ever that they've seen since Abraham Lincoln, the Democrat. They'd say he's a Democrat, which is absolutely false. He was the first Republican, right? So J.D. Vance and Walz are going to be debating there. And this is coming from Tulsi Gabbard, the one who destroyed Harris in the Democratic primaries, which we always have to... I know a lot of you guys are like, why are you hard on people joining the team? I had questions about J.D. Vance when he came on board. And it's just... We're all about having people join our coalition and coalitions for freedom, for responsibility, for peace in the world and prosperity for the United States. But we have to remember where people come from. You can't just forget. You need to... People don't change completely. That's apart from Jesus Christ, people do not change completely, and you need to know who you can trust. And how many times did Donald Trump get sabotaged, undercut by bad choices that he made in people? He trusted people. Oh, well, you're on my team now. And they weren't. They were just there so they could get power, so they could undercut him. And that's what they did. But Tulsi Gabbard out there, I mean, trust but verify, right? I mean, if she says good stuff, then listen to it. So Tulsi said this, not to underestimate Harris. And that's absolutely true for several reasons. One, Donald Trump needs to be on his A game. There's a lot of people undecided out there, or a lot of people that are decided against him that could potentially be swayed. If he doesn't sound terrible, right? There's a lot of people out there who believe he is the devil reincarnated or something like that. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And so him sounding like a sane, rational human being, which he basically always does if you just listen to him, is always potential to sway more and more people. But you need to take Kamala Harris seriously. Why? Because if we set the bar so low and she jumps over that tiny little marker, then she gets a win, even though she may be way outclassed. If you set the bar too low for her, then you'll be surprised by her, and people will celebrate how well she did. So there's reasons for that, and that's why the Trump campaign has started trying to put out there that she's a formidable opponent. I mean, this is a basic political fact that they do this before every single debate. Is they try to talk up their opponent a little bit so that hopefully people will be surprised at how badly they did. You know, this is coming from senior Trump campaign advisor Jason Miller. Just yesterday said that Trump will hold Vice President Kamala Harris accountable for the countless failures of her and President Joe Biden's administration during their debate on Tuesday. That's kind of the goal. Miller spoke with reporters during a Trump campaign press call on the eve of the ABC News debate. He contended that Harris, who owns every failure, quote, of the Harris-Biden administration, has actually been running the country, not Joe Biden, whose cognitive fitness came under intense scrutiny after his debate with Trump in June, which marked the demise of his political career. He says, so we saw from the debate with Joe Biden when President Trump went up against Joe Biden that Joe Biden's not in charge of anything. I don't think he's in charge of tying his shoes, let alone being in charge of the administration. And so the question is then, who is actually in charge of the country right now? Legitimate question, right? And as you go and start to unpack it, which I'll do here in a moment, it's very clear that Kamala Harris is the one who's been running the country the entire time. You can't talk about turning the page when you're the one who created the current nightmare. So yeah, she's talking about day one, I'll be the commander-in-chief. Well, that's a whole nother thing, right? Day one, I'll be the best commander-in-chief out there. But she made some pretty big blunders out there when it comes to foreign policy. Remember her, even on her page, she's touting her successes in South Korea when she went to the DMZ. Remember that trip where she said that basically this is where we entered into the alliance with North Korea, which an alliance? No, it was like a ceasefire. We entered into a ceasefire with North Korea. We're still technically at war with them. They're still technically at war with us. So talk about a major blunder. South Korea got all freaked out by that. There's like, what in the world? This lady who's supposed to be the vice president of the United States doesn't even understand that we're at war. That there's not a peace treaty, and North Korea is certainly not an ally of the United States. That's just absolutely insane. We got the ABC out there absolutely doing puff pieces for Kamala Harris. A recent study showed that ABC News has been 100% positive for Harris. They couldn't find a single negative statement or a negative thing that they pointed out about the Harris campaign, but they found that 93% of what they said about Donald Trump was negative. And it's really funny. We've seen these things in the last number of days, I'm sure, where we saw a comparison between Donald Trump comes out and says, you know, no taxes on tips, and then and the media was just like, that's the worst idea ever. And then Kamala comes out and says, no taxes on tips. And suddenly they're like, this is the greatest idea that we've ever heard. It's just like, it's just impossible to make this stuff up. They are so absolutely biased, and these are the people that are going to be running the debate. So I don't know. 5 clearly positive statements about a policy or something that Trump had done, and 66 negative statements. That's 93% negative. Just the questions and all that. One thing that some people are starting to talk about out there is how interesting it is that Taylor Swift has not come out and officially endorsed Kamala Harris. I was a little surprised by that because I kind of figured that she had at some point, but she really hadn't. Variety magazine came out there in an interview and tried to pin her down and try to get her to say that she endorsed formally Kamala Harris because she's got a lot of fans out there, especially among the younger generations. And she's been radio silent this election season. Radio silent. And that's got, there's a bunch of people out there like Swifties for Trump and all this kind of stuff like that, which is really unheard of because she was all in on Biden. Like, she was all in on Biden back in 2020, and she was going to campaign events and all this kind of stuff like that, and she's just not done anything. She's not talked about it. She's not done an interview. She's not spoken of it at her conferences recently. And now that it's Kamala Harris, it's all girl power too, right? But no, she's not on board apparently. So the question is why not? Has she actually taken a look at the policy proposals and realized that her tax numbers are probably going to be better under Trump? Has she looked at like how Donald Trump really isn't as bad as they said he was? I don't know. Or maybe she's just not wanting to be political. She doesn't want to divide up her base into just political parties. So there's a question of that. Some of the polling coming out is very, very interesting. Even before the debate, President Trump has pulled ahead in some of the most reliable polls in Georgia. We're talking about the, what was this? The Sterling poll, I believe it was. I didn't actually take that down, but I believe in the Sterling poll, it was in Georgia. We also saw that some of the most reliable polls that have just happened too, that Donald Trump has pulled ahead of Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania. These are all big things because it's really going to come down to Georgia and Pennsylvania, really. I hate it that it's going to be that way unless Donald Trump can somehow flip Virginia, which personally I think that may be in play. A lot of people are saying that that Virginia could never be in play, but they've been doing a lot of curing of the voter rolls there. Let's just say it that way. And there's been an upswell in support for conservative things, homeschooling. There's been a major backlash against public schools. There's been a lot going on, Second Amendment, all that stuff happening in Virginia, and it's a good old boy state, right? Not like here in Iceland, where it's beautiful, but it is full of liberals, I believe. I don't know that for sure, but I feel like Iceland is full of liberals because a lot of these European countries are. Conservatives here in Europe are very much like the liberalist of liberals in the United States. Well, I don't know. Some of that's been changing because these whack jobs in the United States have been going so far left that they've fallen off the cliff, and even the Europeans are looking at them like they're crazy now with some of the stuff they're doing. But the Europeans are on board with a lot of the stuff they're doing still. Anyway, so if Pennsylvania flips, if Georgia flips for Trump, that will probably be the election. If Donald Trump can't get Pennsylvania, it's going to get really hard to put together the 270 he needs. So this is going to be an interesting situation. I'm a little more nervous than what I was before because Pennsylvania, we have to win by such a large margin in Pennsylvania because the the dishonesty there is off the charts. In 2020, we saw that it wasn't just the machine in Philadelphia, but they got the machine going in Allegheny County, out west in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as well. That's where a lot of these numbers came from. They got, now that they have two money laundering machines, or laundering machines, if you know what I mean, that's going to get really hard to beat. It's going to have to be a pretty big landslide in the state in order to make it go the right way. And that's my biggest concern. And I know a lot of you guys are really concerned about that too. But right now, the more that we can rack up the numbers and put points on the scoreboard, the easier it will be to point out the fakeness, the lies. It will be easier to potentially just overwhelm them, that they just can't come up with those kind of numbers. And so hopefully we will see this thing go the right way. And a lot of that's going to come down to tonight. Can Donald Trump wipe the floor with Kamala Harris? If so, that would be great. If he comes across looking mean, evil, sinister, if his makeup isn't done properly, seriously, it's ridiculous how that works. But and will voters remember his performance with Joe Biden? I don't know that they will, and so hopefully they do. But the fact is that Kamala Harris is ducking the normal number of debates. Normally, presidents go 3 rounds, and the vice presidents go 1 round. Kamala Harris is trying to get away with going 1 round and maybe having her VP not do any rounds at all. That's really what they're trying to do, and it's absolutely insane, and I don't think the American people will be for it. Well, friends, I am indeed here in Iceland, trying to get as far away from all the politics in the United States as possible, and it's gorgeous here, but it is raining and I'm getting wet, but it is all worth it. I'm heading up to a waterfall. The ring road that goes all the way around Iceland is longer than I thought, and apparently you're not supposed to try to do it in 3 days, but I'm doing that anyway because, hey, why not, right? Anyway, so friends, I'm going to be popping up here and there. You will see more as the days unfold. Not going to stay here in Iceland. I'm here just for a couple days on my way to some more interesting stuff over in Europe, Asia areas. All right. Thanks so much for being a part of what we're doing. And I promise you there's going to be some great and awesome stuff coming your way. We will keep you updated on everything that's going on. Keep your updates coming in. We'll keep producing the videos just like usual, except instead of being in the studio getting fatter, I am out here getting exercise and trying to get my health in a better place. So that's one way I know how to do that, is get exercise. So I am doing that. I'm going to get back to it and get climbing up a waterfall. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, God bless you all. I'll see you later. Steve Poplar, The Poplar Report, out.